Hey, I still remember that action movie we saw a while ago. It was awesome but hell my out a bit because my memory is a bit fuzzy. Who were the actor and what exactly happened in the story at the beginning?
Who could have forget it? The main actor is the one who plays Thor, Chris Hemsworth. He plays a soldier who wars independently, taking on very dangerous missions. The story begins when some really bad criminals kidnap the son of a mafia boss in a distant city. The protagonist agrees to go after the boy because he needs the money and is afraid of anything. What, what he didn't know is that the city was like a rat trap. Once you go in, it's almost impossible to get off because the bad guys control the streets, the bridges, and even the local police.
That's that's right. My memory is starting to come back, but there was one part that confused me a bit. Who did the same people who heard him suddenly turn against him? What went wrong with the original plan?
What happened was that the boy's father didn't have the money to pay the ransom because he was in hell and his accounts were frozen. So he sent his bets, but were to kidnap the boy once the protagonist had rescued him from the kidnappers. That way, the father saved himself from playing the protagonist what amidst the creative between them.
What a betrayal. No wonder they start fitting amounts themselves. I have another question about a scene that really made me nervous. What was happening in the streets and on the rooftops while the protagonist and the boy were trying to cross that crowded market?
The part was crazy as the protagonist led the boy by the hand, trying to hit among the fruit stars. Snipers on the roofs were aiming lasers at them. At the same time, on the main street, the bad guys were ramming their trucks into everything in sight to block their path. Meanwhile, people from the market were running around screaming, and soldiers were throwing smoke bombs so the protagonists could see where to escape. It was total chaos, gunfire from one side, people screaming from the other, and the protagonist trying to stay calm so he would lose the boy in the crowd.
Well, I can almost feel the tension again. And to make sure I remember who did it all end up on that long bridge, I remember there was a lot of love and explosions.
The ending was the saddest and most exciting part. The reach the bridge because it was the only way out of the city. But it was full of tanks and soldiers waiting for them. The protagonist also arrived very tired and wounded, stood in front of everyone to take the shot while yelling at the boy to run without looking back. The boy managed to reach a helicopter that was waiting for him on the other side, but the protagonist was shot one last time and fell from the top of the bridge into the river. At the end of the film, there is a kick scene where it streams that Simone is watching the boy from a distance, so they left us wondering whether the protagonist survived or not.
What
Hey, I was thinking about the action movie we saw, the one we crashed him was saying Bangladesh. Do you remember who was in what it was about? I remember the shooting but not so much the story.
of course, I remember the main character is the actor who's plays Thor, and he plays a mercenary named Tyler. The story is about him being hired to rescue a drug lord kidnapped. So what makes it difficult is that the voice is like a trophy, and every young in the city wants him. So Tyler has to fight two sons of people that project him. Also, there's a woman who is a boss and help him from after with camera and technical equipment. The main conflict is that once Tyler has the voice, he realizes he has a support and has to cross the city alone because he's being betrayed.
I know I'm getting a refresh, but I have a question. Why does the protagonist stay with the boy in his neck? It was a suicide mission. Would it have been easier to leave him and escaping on his own?
The thing is, Tyler has trauma from his past. He lost his own some years ago and feels incredible quality for not being there. When he sees the boy so scared, he feels that if he saved him, he can forgive himself for that, for what happening to him also. That's why I decide never to abandon him, even if it costs him his life.
Wow, I didn't remember the emotional aspect. Hey, and I have a question about a scene I really like. What was happening in the apartments and hallways while the police were trying to, to catch them before they went down in the sewers?
And that part was amazing. Will Tyler and the boy were running through the building, narrow hallways. The police were breaking down doors and firing tear gas on every floor. The neighbors were 30 feet hidden under tables as soldiers rapidly down from the north, studying at the same time on the strike. Tyler was fighter tie gas. I once saw the kid called head down fight. You call her helicopter whizzing past the window and bullet whizzing through the whole was. It was one of the most tense part because they were triple like rats.
That's right. And then they went down into the sewers, right? What happened? What happened at the end of that part? Who did manage to get out of the dark tunnel?
They managed to head out because Tyler used a crane to block the path so the police dog couldn't track the envious mail. They came out through a sewer that led directly to second-hand clothing area in the market. They they can get close so they could blend in white to another people. It was thanks to that try that they were able to write, which were the final battle we already now takes place, where High sacrificed himself for the boy.